Um, our recipe doesn't have any vanilla, but you could infuse the milk cream with some kind of flavor. This one, nothing, because we're just sticking it in donuts. I'm heating it until it begins to scald. It's going to get quite hot. I don't want it to boil yet. I just want to heat it to scalding. Okay? And then, in a separate bowl, okay, so some recipes will put some of the sugar here to dissolve, and then half of the sugar here with the eggs to mix. But you don't have to, right? You can put all the sugar here. This recipe has a very small amount of sugar, so I'm just going to put it here. Some other recipes have lots of sugar, so you put some here, you put some here. Okay, but this one, it's only going in here. With the egg yolk, some recipes have whole egg. This one is egg yolk. We're going to add the cornstarch. So this is the thickener, right? So this is such a small amount of sugar. I'll do the other method, where I'll put some here, half here, to dissolve, and then I'll put the other half here, right? I like to make sure there is sugar in this part because it breaks up the cornstarch, right? So I'm going to stir it, and then there's a little bit of milk. Could have gone here, but see how it's kind of clumpy? The milk is going to like dissolve it, right? Like make a slurry. So I'll put some here. But the ingredients will always have some kind of milk, cream. It will always have egg, sugar, like for sweet, and then a thickener. So the thickener here is cornstarch. And then I'm just going to make this into a slurry while this one is heating. You can see it's starting to scald already. Okay, and I want to make sure that this on this side, the cornstarch is like rubbed away. There's a little bit of clump still. And then notice my tools too. I have a whisk. I've got a rubber spatula. I've got a separate bowl. And then I've got a pot with the heating of the cream. And then here I've got a hotel pan. So I have somewhere to deposit it right away after it's cooked. And then I have plastic. Okay, so I'm going to whisk, whisk, whisk so it's nice and smooth. So this is like, you can see it's getting hot. I'm going to temper, this is called tempering, the hot cream into the egg mixture just gradually. So I'll go a third. Again, this is a small recipe. But the idea is you don't dump everything at once, right? You kind of make family. Temper, make family. You know when you have like a boyfriend and he's new? You don't introduce him to like everybody, right? You introduce your best friend. Maybe your sister, right? You don't introduce like the grandma, your aunts, uncles. No, you don't do that. Again, I'm doing another third. You temper, you introduce the hot gradually because I don't want to cook the eggs prematurely, right? Okay, so that's nice and smooth. I'm going to add the rest here to the hot. And now I need to cook everything up, right? Eggs are perishable. They are also not food safe if you eat it at anything under 74 degrees Celsius is bad news, right? Bacteria, salmonella. So I want to make sure I cook it, but also the starch. The starch will not thicken until it hits 100 Celsius. I don't have to bring out my thermometer because I know water breaks at 100. So as soon as I see this bubble and it will begin to thicken, I know I'm good, right? 100 is well past 74, so I know it's food safe. But now I just want to cook out the starch. And when you add it back to the pot, you don't stop stirring. Unless you want lumpy pastry cream. Lumpy pastry cream is not desirable. As soon as I put it in, I keep whisking. Everywhere, I'm rubbing the bottom, the sides, everybody. I keep it moving. Okay? This is something where you can't, put it on and then walk away. You are here for the entire thing. So notice how it's getting thick, right? And do you see how, I'll just stop. The bubbles, there's bubbles. The surface is breaking with the bubbles. I've hit 100 Celsius, so I will turn it off. Okay? This recipe is not so rich because some recipes at the very end will add butter. You can add your vanilla paste. But again, this one is very plain. So look how quickly that has thickened, and I didn't stop stirring, right? Pastry cream should be smooth. Pastry cream should be shiny. It's very important that you are continuously stirring so that you don't get lumps. And then also this pot contains lots of heat. So remove it from the pot right away, because if you continue to cook it, the eggs are going to curdle. And you don't want like scrambled eggs, right? So I'm making, increasing the surface area so it cools very quickly. But also I will cover it with plastic and touch it to the surface. Make sure the plastic is touching the pastry cream. You're trying to make a seal like this, okay? Like that, and then this should be cooled. Allow it to cool. Once it's cool, then you can use it for, you can put it in a piping bag or whatever you want. But it should be shiny. It should be smooth. Cool it right away. And like, yeah, it's very important that you cool this right away, because if this is not stored correctly, it's egg and it's dairy. You're gonna make people sick. And then this recipe doesn't have any butter or vanilla, but usually you add that at the end. As soon as it bubbles, remove it from the heat. There's enough heat there to melt the butter and the vanilla. And you stir it. Okay? If you have to pass your pastry cream through a sieve because there's lumps, you probably made it incorrectly. It should be smooth. Okay, but if it's lumpy and you want to save it, you'll have to pass it through a sieve, but then that's not very professional, right?
Not elegant.
Yeah, no, it's not. Like, what if you're doing a big vat, right? And you're going to be passing that. It's a waste of time.
More
This
work.
is done. And it's smooth. Okay, any questions about pastry cream? Please, 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 when you get to that